Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. So today we're going to do something a little bit different here. We are going to talk about Fibonacci, retracements, fib levels, fib support, resistance, etc. And basically, it's going to have everything from your basic how-to, if you're not familiar with Fibonacci, to like more advanced points, as well as some specific examples in the market as of late. Everyone is screaming about manipulation and this, that, and the other, about the big dump and the big pump, and whales and this, that, and the other. But in all actuality, this is just very methodical movement inside of the market. You just have to know what you're looking at. And this part here specifically is what a lot of people are talking about, where we're getting these massive moves like this. But in all reality, all it is just indecision, and then all of a sudden we break through a key level, so we get a big pump or a big dump, or one way or the other. Essentially all that is. And then when finally the market makes up its mind, when there's more buyers than sellers at a level, we'll move to the next level. So, but I did say we're going to talk about Fibonacci. So here we go. We're going to turn on our fib, and as you can see here, what we did was we essentially took this blue fib level right here, and we had initially fibbed. Actually, I'm going to go back in time, and we're going to start all the way at this bottom fib right here, and we're going to go up to the tip of this point right here. And the only reason I like to put my fibs over to the side like that is because I like it at a readable level, so I can see where it came back down and interacted like from that point in the future, like movements. But in all reality, what we're looking at is from this move to this move. We're looking at the bottom. You could draw your fib at 65.13, and the top of the fib would be at 73.82, so 7,400, depending on the exchange, of course. And then once we topped out, we're going to look at key interactions on the way back down, and then reversal points. So we came down here, and there's no clear interaction specifically on a short time frame. Right now we're on a very short time frame. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch up one time frame because we don't necessarily need to be on that short of a time frame right now, and this will give us a little more of a clear picture. Sometimes that's what you need to do, is you need to zoom out and look more at like the clear broad picture. So we got that move up here, we came down, and what did we essentially do? We moved from the top of the range, the high, down to the 382, and we got a 382 retracement. And then all of a sudden, there was indecision in the market right here, and then we sold off and we got a massive dump, and look where it went to. It went exactly to the 618. Came down here, and the wick didn't close at the 618, didn't close at the 0.5. It came all the way back up and closed at the 382. So what that was essentially the price trying to get smashed down. We found support at the 618, a key fib level, and it got bought up, and we closed right here. And that was essentially a candle and a confirmation of reversal point in the market for a temporary trend. And essentially confirmation that we were going to be moving to the upside. So then when we moved to the upside, we essentially got our next move. And now that next move is, I'm going to take this green one back off of here now, just to kind of calm this down a little bit. And now our next move was this blue fib right here, okay? And it started right here at the 68.41, where that wick came down to at the 618, and then it's going to go all the way up to the 78.71 point, again, depending on the exchange. And all I did was just draw it up there again, and I just spread it out so we can see how it interacted with all this price action. So from the bottom there to the top there, what did we do? We came down, dump, 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 and we came down exactly to the 618. And then when we hit the 618, bounced up two fib levels like we always talk about. We tested the 0.5, and then we got resistance at the 382. And when we sold back off violently, attempted back up, and failed to make a higher high, that's telling the market we're going down lower. So then we dumped down again, and we fell below the 236 where we had previously found support. Or I'm sorry, the 618. Ignore the orange one for right now. The 618 of the blue. We fell down, then we found support, two consecutive wicks in a row, and then we found higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then we finally pushed up, consolidated, got a fake out dump here, and this is where everyone got psyched out. But what did it do? It came down just almost to the 786. So we overshot the 618, but consolidated above it, and then we almost came down to the 786. Consolidated, and then we pushed up, and that was confirmation to the market that we were going back to the upside. Then we got the massive candle back up, but we came back. This orange fib now is drawn from the top to the bottom. All the previous fibs we've drawn so far, the previous two, were drawn from the bottom to the top. So now from the top here at 78.71 down to our bottom now, which was almost at the 786 we were just talking about, at 7,085, we have drawn our next fib level. And that is essentially going to give us a fib in the opposite direction. So what did we do? We got that massive candle up after we got confirmation the market wasn't going lower. Massive candle up, and it came exactly up to the 886 fib level. But it sold back off 786, it sold back off the 618, and then look where it consolidated, and the candle closed on the 4-hour time frame, right at the 0.5 fib level. And then we got another indecision candle here, and then as soon as the market felt like there was indecision after that 4-hour close, it immediately sold off massively all the way back down and almost completely. Now look, we're going to draw another fib right here. The orange one is from this high to that low, so now we're going to draw another fib from that high down to this low that we put in afterwards, and I'm going to change that one to yellow. Okay, so now this yellow fib level we have now, we came back up with that wick, and we came back up almost, or I'm sorry, we came back down. Okay, there we go. So now we got it. So then after we came back down on that massive sell-off and we didn't put in a new lower low, that's essentially telling the market, you know, we're essentially bullish, at least in the shorter time frames. And that's when I took a long position and figured, you know, we could potentially move up to the top of the range. So then, you know, we consolidated, we moved up, and look where we push all the way up to. The 382 of the blue, and then we sell back off massively down to the 618 of the blue. And look how that's interacting with our other fib levels. Now granted, there's a lot of fib levels in here, so it's hard to tell now, so I'm going to take away the orange one now. So now we just have the yellow one and the blue one, okay? So when we came up, we came all the way up to the 618 of the yellow, which correspond to the 382 of the blue. Then we sold back off the 236 of the yellow, which correspond to the 618 of the blue. And then we kind of consolidated in this range, and then we pumped up back to the 236 and the 786. And you see how these points are specifically in confluence, and the wicks and the bodies of the candle are clearly like corresponding. So we got that pump back up here at 786, and that was telling the market we put in a new high on the micro, but not on this little macro time frame here. We couldn't take out that wick. So we immediately started selling back off, and now here we are at the 382, but we broke out of this triangle that we were forming. And when we broke out, we came back down, and now essentially what we're doing is we're testing the triangle breakout, we're testing the blue 382, and then we're testing this upward sloping trend line for the third time. Okay, well, really more than the third time, but if you count each of these tests as 1, 2, and then this is our third one. So I think it's likely that we're going to continue to find support here. I did take profits on my longs. My take profit level was right here, and it just looked like it was going to get front run at these fibs. You know, we'll see how this all plays out, obviously. But I do think that we were going to find support here and, you know, potentially get another move to the upside to the top of this range, was essentially just testing that heart line that we broke down from and haven't been able to get back above. So I think what's likely to happen now is we're potentially going to get like another stab down and see like a wick come in at that 0.5 level, or even down in this range. But I would like to see it hold right here at this support. It's the break up from the triangle. It's also like the retest of that break, and then it's the retest of this upward sloping trend line. And I think honestly that you know, it's easy to manage risk off of this position, and I think it is likely that we're going to get that test up here, which is another like 3.5%, and then at least puts us in a position to potentially continue to the upside. Although, you know, at this point in time, I'm not going to get bullish, and I do think it's likely that we get rejected in this area. But it basically puts us in a nice position with the ability to manage risk off of, you know, confluence and Fibonacci levels as well. And you'll see we are still on the TJD OBV trending downwards on the 4-hour. VPCI is trending downwards on the 4-hour, but we have gotten our first two buy signals. So what I would expect to happen here is typically the third signal is going to be the strongest. So I would expect like a strong sell-off to get bought up on a wick, and then that's a third one's going to come in, and that's our potential reversal point. But again, you know, you're trading against the trend overall, so you know I wouldn't want to get like I wouldn't want to get too attached to this trade. I'd be looking to take profits and moving my stop up, you know, as the trade moves in my favor, or getting out of it if it doesn't. You know, don't get committed to these trades, because there's always another one. We are looking okay on the TJD WAE, so we'll see how this all plays out, guys. Just wanted to do a quick video and essentially, talk about how important these fib levels are and how important it is that you're using them correctly, and that you're paying attention not only to the broad scope Fibonacci levels, but also the shorter time frame levels as well. If you're looking at a shorter time frame chart and potentially like trading that, you might as well be looking at a shorter time frame Fibonacci, especially once you see specifically how well they are corresponding inside of this market, and it's clear that traders and bots algorithms are using them. So there we have it, guys. Nice little update on Bitcoin, crypto trend trader, Fibonacci, and please, again, if you haven't watched my previous video, do not pay attention to any of these trade setups or any of the things I talk about in these videos. Is not to be it's not to be interpreted as financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Markets are extremely volatile. Anything can change in the blink of an eye, and I would hate for you to be in a bad position because you thought that basically I had told you to do something or I was recommending something. This is not financial advice. It's not a signal service. Please, trade responsibly. This channel is designed for me to not only document, my trades and my journey in this market, and essentially like in this space, but also accountability for myself and to share some of the things that I've learned, to benefit the community and meet like-minded people that I can bounce ideas off of, and potentially grow and keep an eye out for specific things. Like, if I'm watching my indicator and I'm watching this, that, and the other, I can only see so much. But if I have like 10 or 20 or 50 other people, 100 people almost now using the indicators and looking at other markets and looking at other things, pointing them out to me, essentially like my two eyes turns into 200 eyes. So I do appreciate the community. I appreciate all the support, and if you would take the time to just comment and not only just like the videos, or actually both, like, comment, and obviously subscribe for regular daily Bitcoin and cryptocurrency updates, as well as market analysis and education. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I do appreciate the support lately. Crypto Trend Trader, signing off.